Okay, so in the last video, we talked about how discipline needs to be discarded, right? We are anti-discipline here. Not really, right? In the truest sense of the term, we are not saying that discipline doesn't have positive effects. We're saying that discipline is only necessary when there's friction, right? But if there's no friction, if you actually naturally want to do the thing that aligns with your goal, then you won't need discipline. That's called flow, right? No more force. And so the question is, what is this crazy guy talking about? What does he mean discipline isn't necessary, right? Well, it's for this particular reason right here, right? Let's think about it. What's actually happening when you don't do what you need to do, right? You have a place you want to get to, a destination, right? You say, okay, I want six-pack abs, or I want a beautiful wife, or I want my wife to respect me, or I want to make $10,000 more a month or per year, or whatever, right? Those things usually require you to do a very specific thing. And I know you're intelligent, so I know you already know what to do, right? It's not usually, I can't search it up on YouTube. I don't have the course. It's not, I can't, even more so now, I can't go on AI and get the information. So it's very unlikely that information is what you lack, right? More information is not the problem. You could go read 20 more books of the 5 books that you haven't read and that's been on your desk saying like, oh man, I'm gonna get to that. I'm gonna get to it, I promise. You know, right? And you think, man, I'm gonna learn some secret nugget piece of information that's gonna change everything. Right, that one line that's gonna inspire me, and then I'm gonna do it all. I'm gonna just magically change. It's not happening, right? And if it was gonna happen, it would have happened already, right? So the question is, why are you not doing the action you need to do? That's fundamentally what it boils down to. And a lot of times what we call bad habits are actions that seem to move us away from our goals. So if you wanted to get some six-pack abs, for example, I'm going to stick to the six-pack ab thing today, it seems. You're like, okay, I need to stop eating donuts, right? Yet, for some reason, when it comes time to it, you just love them donuts and cookies, right? Can't keep your hands off them. And you know consciously you're intelligent, right? You're intelligent, you've had discipline before, maybe you've even had success before, maybe you've even come to the 5-pack, but when you're about to get that 6th one, you bang, the donuts came back. You're like, damn it, why do I keep doing the thing I know I shouldn't be doing? Why can't I control myself? And that gets frustrating, exhausting. You start to lose trust for yourself, and it's just this negative cycle. You burn out, you go, man, why do I even try? And then boom, rock bottom, you may get depressed, and then you try to come back out of it and crawl your way back up into some self-respect again, when you're at that low point where it feels like you don't even want to see anybody. If that sounds relatable, pay attention. That is actually not a bad habit, right? Bad habits don't exist. But okay, slow down, explain this. What I mean by bad habits don't exist is that habits, all behaviors or bad habits are what are called protective. So you've been taught that bad habits are something that are a problem, right? However, the body is not the mind, the nervous system, right? All the common things people use today, right? Pick your option. Bad habits are protective, meaning they do not intend to harm you. They intend to protect you. And the question is, protect you from what, right? That is the key. So whenever you want to do something, you're going to talk to that girl and you hesitate, protection. Whenever you want to launch that book or that video or and you don't, start overthinking, protection. You know you should do that thing and you're like, I'm going to do it tomorrow. I'm going to do it later. And it's been 3 years. It's been 6 months. And you know you're not getting any younger. You know something needs to change now. You know when you go to bed at night, You try to drown it out with some doom scrolling, because you know if you give yourself any moment, any break to allow the thought to slip through that, hey, you're less than you could be, and you know it. Procrastination, protection, right? So these quote unquote negative habits are protecting you. Now the question is, protecting you from what? And that is where identity scripts come in. Everything is trying to protect you. And if you keep trying to use discipline, right, where you're, no, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to beat this bad habit. I'm going to force it. After a while, the reason it's near impossible to sustain is because there is something more fundamental deep within your nervous system that says that goal is dangerous. Protect him. That goal is risky. Protect him. That goal could, not to be dramatic here, that goal could cause us to go extinct. Protect him. And until you find out what at the core of your identity is being protected, you will always burn out. You'll always need discipline. You'll always fall off. Why? Because protection always wins in the end. And so your nervous system will constantly try to protect. And that's why we get these exhaustive periods where we burn out and get depressed. And we're like, man, and nobody knows but you. A lot of times we don't talk about this, but you know, you go to bed and you're like, something has to change. Something has to change. Something has to change. But I can't get myself to do it. I can't get myself to do what I know I need to do. You're being protected. But the problem becomes when your scripts start protecting you from your next level. And now they're becoming destructive. And that's why we call them bad habits, because they're habits that seem to be destroying the future and the dream life that we desire. And so the question then becomes, why do they exist? How do they work? And how do we change them? And that's what we're going to discuss in the next video. But what I want you to take away from this is that understand that you're not broken. All your bad habits are protecting you from something that you have no awareness of. And until you find out what it actually is, you will never stop doing it, and you will always pay the price for it. And if you keep paying the price long enough, you lose complete confidence in yourself, and you'll end up like many men end up, where did the years go? Where did the years go? And they can't look themselves in the mirror. And at that point, they're like, it's too late. And you don't want to ever be the man that starts feeling like it's too late. You got to find out what it's protecting. So let's talk about it in the next video.